lot of things. We need people to do the work. We need to develop the thing. We need money to pay for things. We need ways to sustain it. We need people to work on it once it's created. We need to. It doesn't have to only be money, but we need, like, for example, the New York Public Library. I met the woman from the archive there. There's a dance library, the Jerome Robbins Dance Library. She told us that they don't have money, but they have the resources. If we have a collection, that they can catalog it and keep it there for us. So that's one way that we can network with, like a library like that has the resources to input someone's collection and have it there, and maybe that links to ours. I don't know how this is all going to work, but that's one example.
So another example would be the Academy of Arts is interested in my personal archive. And besides those two big containers, there is meters of material that I collected since 1977, and so like I have been working in Tanzerbrück for 20 years. So like this was the first freelance dance space in Germany, and practically we were also the first place to introduce contact in Germany, and the Tanzerbrück archive is part of the Academy of Arts. And so there is a question at the moment: will the individual archives also go into the academy to just feed to connect with the other archive material there, and so those could be of help.
Or if there's somebody that works at a university that can get a PhD student to help us, or any of these things. I mean, we have to think really creatively and wide about how we can do this, because it's a massive project, massive.
Have you ever tried to get in touch with the Goethe Institute?
We have
the Goethe Institute?
Yeah, he does like he's been sponsoring a lot of artistic projects connecting Australia to Germany, for example. And that could be
like so far, like the Goethe Institute hasn't really been helpful.
I mean, I'm kind of really clueless about a lot of things in terms of digital, but I'm very interested in the whole, gathering materials and all this. And for me, it would be great that there was somebody in the know who was local, or how we might gather in local regions or places where we could start to do that, and that's what I would need. I wouldn't know where to start, actually, to kind of.
So like I just spoke with Susanne during dinner or so, because she brought material from the second ECITE, that I had never seen, and so like I think it would really be at the moment also like who has materials, and are they willing to share it? And then the next question would be like, can they scan it, or who can scan it, or like, do they have a website of their own, and then we can make a link.
Okay, so the process is to digitalize any material.
Yes.
Possibly, we don't know yet, because we don't know if we can host all of that. We don't know if we can have. Can you imagine having all the videos? I
No,
don't
like
even know.
I think videos will probably not all go in there.
Yes.
Like text, yes. Like if people want that, but the alternative would be to link to people's site.
Yeah.
But there is always a question. Like there is a longevity. How long will those sites exist?
Yeah.
For example, Contact Encyclopedia is no longer existing. It broke down because of a difficulty with the server. Okay, the material is still there, but we decided to not bring it up again and rather work on the Global Contact Improvisation Archive, which is a different concept. So it does happen that some websites are no longer there. The same happened with ubu.com. Like certain things that were on there are no longer. And so there is a question. And the technology develops pretty fast. And so there is questions, and that's where we feel like the work it should at least be on there for the next 10-20 years. Like with videos, there could always be something like, okay, load it up on YouTube and we link to it. Like that's.
But there's also legal things that we have to look into, and there's a lot of legal things we have to consider, and privacy things. And the other idea is that we don't host them all, but there's listings, so you know where you can find it. Like I know Mary has the quarterly Contact Connections collection, and I know where she lives, and I can get in touch with her. So that's another idea, that we might not house everything, but it'll be a reference, so you can find it somehow.
Reference library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like listings.
Yeah, for example, in the resource room there's Contact Improvisation magazine, like the German magazine that existed for some time, and it was organized by Andrea Werzner, and like I have all issues in my archive. Yeah.
So we come to you and say, actually.
Yeah, like, or at least yes, like people can then, like, once you know where it is, you can send a mail and can I get access?
copy
So
of it.
maybe you will have to travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Go to my basement.
but at least you know that that it is there, and
Yeah.
and for us it would be helpful if you know people who have like material. Yeah, can you ask them if they are willing to share, and then we can think about ways of how this can happen. But first of all, like, where is the material? Yeah, and that would already be a first step.
And do we need to do this? Do people want this? You know, if we do all this work, is it going to be used? Is it, you know, there's a lot of questions. You know.
Yeah, my question
Yeah.
is, maybe it's a stupid question, but what is our or your goal with this? That the CI gets more popular among people, or we can get more connected to each other, that it's more in the society known, or it's more useful for more people, or
Like, first of all, like, if you are looking, for example, for your teaching, yeah, there could be examples how people structure their teaching, yeah, and then there's always the question, is it for free or not, yeah, and like normally I give out all my workshop texts for free, and all the lectures are free download. I don't expect that I will make money with it, yeah, but like there is a question, like for people who do want to make money, yeah, like will they make their things free access, yeah, but there could also be a way we link to their site, and there you have to pay to get the information or so, but at least you know how to get to the information. So one would be for teaching purposes, other would be for artistic purposes, other would be like if people are really writing, and there are more and more bachelor theses, master theses in this field, and to get access to this knowledge, and yes, it could be a way, like when we did the fourth ECITE in Berlin, it was really putting contact in a big festival context, yeah. At that time we felt at least it was necessary to make it public, yeah, and to bring all and Nancy and Steve and Mark Tompkins and like all the people to Berlin, and just and there was a discussion like, do we need all the biggies, kind of, but for us, in order to put it onto like a big with a lot of visibility in an international festival context made sense, yeah, and now also contact is part of curricula in universities. It wasn't before, and so things are changing, and so like how are things done, and so yeah, there is a question. What can you imagine? What would you like to find there? Yeah, and
But that's also what we have to find out. Who is it for, and how do we arrange it? I just want to see, Nancy, did you want to answer that question? The question. Did you?
About what is it for?
Yeah.
Oh, who is it
The
for?
calendar
yeah.
and the archive, or are we just talking about the archive?
The
thing?
archive. The archive, right?
Well, it's just to collect resources so that people can know what's available and use it however they want, whether they're teaching or they just want to learn themselves, or they want to share something that they have that they find valuable, just to let people know that it exists. I think we'll see how people use it, but it's again a way to collect resources and share them. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know, there's theses, but there's also some interesting other materials or articles in different languages. And, you know, Romain, who I don't know if he's there, from France, he just spent a month or several weeks at CQ looking through the archive that we've collected so far, and found stuff that I didn't remember we had, and has been using it for his research. And it's very satisfying to feel like the work that people are putting into making these things can be extended through other people's use of it over time and over space, and also to have a repository of materials that aren't completely dissipated throughout the world. And the synergy of that could be useful to anyone in any way they want to use it.
Yeah, an example could probably be like during Récit, like in Paris, after the ECITE, I will co-teach with Asa, and we decided to use 3 texts from Steve Paxton and have our own questions, and also like put additional text into a Dropbox folder and take that as a base for our workshop there. We have never taught together, but we felt that that was a way for us to get together. I think there is many different ways how this could be used. Or like Daniel has been collecting texts about politics and contact or so, and yeah, like there's a it's definitely an issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, many people. I don't. Is it okay for me to jump in?
Yeah.
Many people ask me all the time for information about contact and teaching children, or academic environments, or performance, or many different issues. And I go into the Contact Quarterly back issue index and I type in the search word, although that's only a very limited view of what's available. If this was more collection from around the world and in different languages and different translations of things could be collected and easy to find, it would be wonderful to be able to just point people to this deep resource and let them look for what they're interested in, instead of me remembering 2 things I happen to remember and refer them to that, but refer them to this repository.
A lot of knowledge. But there's also a big difference between the material, the printed material that you can find, and there is like the rights are quite it's quite
if it's published,
straightforward.
yeah.
But if it becomes digitized, then it's really complicated. You have to deal with each author.
Yes. Or if you have a video of a performance, you have to deal with the rights. If there's a piece of music in it, you have to get the music rights, because then you can't It's challenging.
So to kind of keep track of time, it's 20 past 8. Yeah. And there is other things happening this evening. So any maybe like 1 or 2 last questions, and then we close this, and we'll announce when we continue.
I'm just like that. I run a few things, and I was just wondering if you had potentially calculated the volume of gigabytes necessary, and what type of web services. These are practical questions.
Yeah, I know.
What type of web services would be available, and then how much would that cost?
Like there is already like the German Dance Film Archive in Bremen. Like they work with the company in Bremen, and they were part of. I attended 2 national meetings of dance researchers and archives, and they from them they make this as an offer. But like we checked at some point. I cannot name you the exact. I would have to go more dig into my computer, but like it is possible.
Well,
like if we are not doing too many videos.
I mean,
then
you need maximum
I can answer this question.
2,000 gigabytes.
I'm working
this
in
is her
field.
job.
Actually, if everything is not under rights, there is a website, a wonderful one called archive.org. You can put anything, and it stores everything, and you can find links, and you can just get the link and put it and embed it into your website. So you don't need to store, but it has to be free, not under rights.
Yeah.
Archive.
Was there Joe? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Publish like a concise wish list for us. Things that you need, or things that we could provide that's kind of concise and clear.
Yeah, I think there is certain things we can make this list.
Yeah.
No, like part of it is like that people to test and people to translate, and like so there is tasks.
If we publish something,
Yeah.
then that's obviously here today. It's something we can take away, but it's also something we can propagate.
Yeah, like no, like this, for example, this lecture text will go on weebly.com.
But that's not concise. It's been fantastic.
Summarise.
I mean, like a condensed.
We don't know because we don't. Okay, this is why we need people to have like further meetings because this is still a concept because we don't know if it's gonna what it's gonna be yet, and so that's why we need to know from the users what to make. Do you see what I mean? Like we can't design something if we don't know how you guys are going to use it and what you need. So we need to get information from you guys this
That's
week.
at the top of the wish list.
Yes, please. Yes.
And
Yeah.
actually you also need a librarian or an
Yes,
archivist.
we do. We do. We need that, like someone working on it. The volunteers can keep track of the calendar. Yes, we need money. We, yeah, yeah.
What if you made like a survey that you could send all of us?
Okay, I can't take notes and facilitate.
Okay.
So can someone just write this down? Sorry.
Sorry, did you want to say something, Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can someone?
No.
Thank you. It's too hard. Okay. Did Nancy say something?
No, she did.
I'm
Okay.
just listening. But I do think it's a good idea to try to accomplish both of those things this week, to get a sense of how people would use it and if they think it's a good idea, and are willing to help in various ways, and then to see if it's possible to maybe come up with some concrete things that we could use. You know, whether it's somebody else on the steering committee and the tech support and in the steering, and I don't know, I mean, to think it through a little bit and to try to get concrete about what we could actually walk away with that we really know we need now. It's not the full picture, but it's the next step,
next step.
because
This
we've
is what
gone
we have to do
quite
now.
a long ways.
Yeah.
But we just need some more different kinds of help, and I think if that could be assessed in the next couple of days and people could walk away with it, that would be helpful and I think probably doable, I would imagine.
Sure. Yeah.
So it seems like that there's so many things
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
Do you establish, but you already the core team kind of priority? What would be the most important, the priority?
I think right now,
there are many questions
I
and many
have-
possibilities.
we
but
have to meet because basically we've been just kind of doing a lot of research, and it's the first time we've presented this. So I think we're gonna have to meet, and we do everything on Skype, so I get to see him this week, so we can sit and look. We still have to go over. Look, I have all this notes. I have to look at what it is, and we have to see how it relates to this, and we need
There's
to talk
other
to you
material
because you're a
that we didn't
professional
present
librarian.
that
You know.
we just kept for
very
like the
interesting for
discussions
you,
Yeah.
later.
So we
you know,
kinda
from
have
you
to-
as well.
Yeah, we have to
would
process
like to
this
start
and
with this.
talk to you guys as well. So it's still
Yeah.
we can't pin anything down yet because it's still just a concept.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just
Sorry, Daniel. Or
Yeah, would it make sense? I mean, this is not about the archive. This is about the calendar.
yes.
So, what I understood that it would be useful to have an idea of like, because we have many countries represented
Yes.
from Europe, like, so that we could sort of make a listing or contribute to your listing of webmasters and websites in each country, and
Yeah.
then maybe we could find some people like. For Sweden, okay, I live in Sweden now. I could say like, okay, as far as I know, there's these websites and these are the people that deal with them.
Yeah.
And then you could contact one of these people and say like, would you be Sweden contributor to the calendar or something like
Yes.
that? I don't know how it works.
Definitely.
So,
yes.
so one thing we could do, like if there's
That's
an
totally
address
doable.
list for
Yeah.
participants here, then I could email the Excel of the website documentation. Yeah. So
I mean, in that case, maybe the simplest first approach would be to have another big piece of paper.
Yes, that's fine.
Somewhere, maybe in the beginning stage, where people start writing stuff. I don't know. Maybe somebody has more.
I think we need another meeting this week.
Yeah.
That's Yeah. fine.
That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of like the archive, but also the calendar. I want to do a study lot about like the
ECITE can maybe support with the round robin project. I feel it must be more like you need to be more embedded. We are not known with all these vocabulary, for example,
Yeah.
and the categories. It feels like yeah.
That's right.
So I need for me as well need to embed it. But I was actually looking a lot at videos, and we had a production out of it. And so I know what you mean with living history, as you did, for example, in Liebesfeil. We had in Hellerau, Festival House, a project out of the history as much as we are able to, and we wanted to come back before 72. So this was our aim, and I think we can use it as a model for coming together again around history and being creative on one hand as we are, but on the other hand focus also in our work backwards to come more into the future. So maybe this can be in the task. I heard that is there something special?
Yeah.
Could be part of the study lab.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if it's relevant, but I find the question of how I'm going to use it to give you feedback a very difficult question, because I have so little knowledge.
Yeah.
And I find the work you do very impressive. And my feeling is, or my, I don't know, feeling, I guess, is that however you're going to design it, we're going to learn how to use it. So it's a bit the other way around. It's giving you like a go-ahead. You've invested so much in researching, and I'm sure you're doing it really thoroughly. And well, sounds like you're doing it really.
I mean, what would help is to test the software that we have now. And that's a pre-existing archival software that was created for, I think it was Oxfam. And the person who made it, Oxfam, gave them permission to give it to us for free. The only thing we would have to pay for was for it to be customized. So it has all, like, some of the categories, but we'd have to add the way that we want them to be named.
Yeah.
So what about a crowdfunding thing set up on all the local websites? I mean, it's super easy, you know. We gotta at least.
Okay, so maybe we should have a meeting about how to fund this, and we'll have follow-up things in the week, and we can have sheets up for ideas, and we'll be available to talk, but we should structure time, and if there's people specifically who want to work on the calendar, we'll have a calendar meeting, and specifically work on the archive, we'll have an archive meeting. Is that okay? So we'll plan it for the rest of the week.
I think what we'll do is we'll structure the different topics of the presentation and have also
Sheets on the
papers there,
wall.
sheets on the wall where people can write down notes and stuff.
And the website has a forum on it, so you can share the link. The website's live, so you can share the link with people and tell them to read that, and then there's a forum. So if anybody has any ideas or comments, or I know someone who works at a university, or I know something about this, put it in the forum, so that it's spreading out now. So please tell people about the website and look at it and talk to us, because that's another way to get information from people who aren't here today. Is that all right? I think that's coming from Nancy. Oh yeah, sorry.
You want to say anything more, Nancy?
Can't you hear us?
And if there are any people who are interested in joining us on steering committee or tech committee,
to get more involved in the project and actually help us form this and move it forward, that would be great to know if anybody's that seriously interested. And also just thank you for Colleen and Dieter putting this together, and for all of you to pay attention and maybe help make this happen. It seems like the community and the work is getting so large, and there's a lot of diversity within it, and how to sort of hold some sense of sharing resources would be wonderful if it could happen.
Wait, let's do screen. Can you do a screenshot?
What's a screen? screenshot.
Screenshot.
Give you a
You do
screenshot?
a screenshot of you looking at us, you know, like we do on
Yeah.
That's it.
You do a screenshot.
Okay. I'll do it.
But
Let's
make
see.
it big. Make us big and then do the screenshot. Ready?
Okay.
It's for our
Wait a minute, I have to make you big. Okay, wait, I'm almost there.
It's still here.
Screenshot.
No.
Okay, wait. Oh, wait, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Okay, you're gonna see, it's very
Okay.
cool.
You gotta wait though. Wait. No,
Okay.
wait. Gotta tell us how to do it. Like a
Why?
selfie. Because we're gonna wait.
Yep, smile or
Wait.
face. Okay, there it is. Got it.
Yes, please. Okay. Should we say goodbye?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Colleen and Peter. Thank you.